They send our young men and women off to die in foreign lands for oil, mineral rights, and a host of other greedy, selfish reasons. And they brainwash them. They convince them that it's for freedom and liberty. And then they have the temerity to declare a holiday to celebrate it. That's what Memorial Day is. And before anyone starts typing, both of my grandfathers served in World War II. My paternal grandfather served in both theaters. My father's oldest brother, who I never met, died in Subic Bay. I put on the uniform, so did my ex. So I can talk about this. There's not been a war fought in my lifetime or my parents' lifetime that had anything to do with freedom or liberty. The last argument that could be made for one would be what they call the Civil War. It was really just the war of northern aggression, and the wrong people won. But if you would like the gloves off, no holds barred version of this video, join us over at the Florida Maquis Patreon channel. There's a lot more to this. There really is. But a lot of it I can't say here anymore because, of course, of the censors. That's the world we live in now, freedom and liberty, where everything is censored. There's words we can't use. There's beliefs that we can't express publicly. Yet we have men and women that have supposedly given their lives. Quick poll, show of hands down in the comment section. Those of you who have lost someone in one of these wars that have been declared by the criminals in Washington, D.C., what would you do if you could have your loved one back? What if it meant your loved one, whether it be a son or a daughter, brother or sister, niece, nephew? What if you could make the trade and they would be anti-military liberals at college somewhere, railing against the U.S. military? Maybe their hair is blue, but they're alive. And you can buy them birthday presents and give them a hug and, maybe tell them you don't agree with them, but they'd be alive. Would you trade that? Would you trade that? I don't think there's anybody out there that would say, no, I would rather my loved one be dead for Washington's wars. You see, there's a time in history when things were a little different and people don't really want to talk about it. I can show a still image from the reality over at Patreon. By the way, if you'd like to join us, Florida Maquis Patreon channel, love to have you over there. A lot of new folks over there. A lot of folks been there for quite some time. Best part is if you go over there and if it's too R-rated or it bothers you, you've got 90 days to get a full refund. No questions asked. And there's, I think now totaling 450 videos at Patreon. You'd be hard-pressed to watch all of them even in that 90 days. But you still could. Give it your best shot. And after 90 days, you get all your money back. No questions asked. So, sign up today. Love to have you over there. I've used this image before, and I'm going to use it probably for the rest of my time here on YouTube as long as they allow me to speak in any capacity whatsoever. Criminals do not obey laws, whether they're on the left or on the right. And make no mistake, we're heading for something right now that's going to bother a lot of people. Are you ready? Are you ready? See, over at the Patreon channel, I read a scripture as part of that video that I'm sure a lot of preachers out there in these milksop churches don't want you reading. They cherry pick things. If you'd like to hear that scripture that tells you why you need to support Israel and you need to be on the side of Zion, there's a scripture that specifically commands it. Now, a lot of people don't like that, but these men, the ones that gave their lives in these wars, they would do anything to be back. They would do anything to be alive and to have seen their children grow up. There was nothing that was achieved in these wars that would have meant there wouldn't be freedom in America. In fact, allegedly, we won all of these wars and we've lost freedoms. Every year, they take away more and more and more and more and more. So what are we celebrating? These young men, young women, a lot of them were devout Christians, far more devout than anyone you've known or I've known. This is a scene from World War I. But yet there was an understanding that when these young men went overseas, that they were going to have to find solace. The U.S. military used to issue condoms knowing this. They were going to need to have some leave time. And part of that leave time was them going and finding comfort and some peace in these places. It was an accepted thing. Now, does that mean we weren't a Christian country? Does that mean that these men were just horribly headed for hell and damnation? I don't believe so. I don't believe so at all. And if you believe so, then why would you celebrate them on Memorial Day? You see, this is a hard question. A lot of people don't like to think about things logically. It reminds me of scripture that occurs 2 places in the Bible. This is in the New Testament, where Jesus says, "These people draw near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their heart is far from me, and in vain they worship me, teaching as holy doctrines the simple commandments of men." And that occurs again in Isaiah. Isaiah 29:13 says, "Wherefore the Lord said, Forasmuch as this people draw near me, with their mouth and with their lips do honor me, but have removed their heart far from me, and their fear toward me is taught by the precept of men." So I'll ask the question again. What in the hell are we celebrating? A lot of these men were put into uniform against their will in the draft. The vast majority of the others were, well, what's the term they use down here in the South? Hornswoggled, brainwashed into believing that they were going to fight for liberty and for freedom and for justice, when none of that was true. Tell me, seriously, what did we gain from World War I? What did we gain from World War II? There was nobody invading North America. There's nobody even having plans of invading North America. Not even the Japanese in Pearl Harbor would have had no prayer. It was all they could do just to reach Pearl Harbor. And that's how many hours? Dozen or so hours offshore? Vietnam, Korea, the Gulf, Iran. Yeah, you give them the nice light blue ropes, the baby blue ropes, and you give them the pretty uniforms. Doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore, and honestly, it's nauseating. How many have we lost in Iran? From a man who openly, for almost a decade, railed against people. A man who now sits in the Oval Office who openly railed against people who said that we should go into Iran. And he said, I would never do such a thing. That is horrible. We can't sacrifice American lives for that. It's a bad idea. He demonized an quote-unquote American war hero, John McCain, for saying we should bomb Iran. McCain just said bomb Iran. He didn't say invade Iran. And now we've lost how many? A dozen? Just in this short amount of time? And achieved nothing. Achieved zero. I'm sorry, I'm going to be the first one to say it. I will raise my hand. I would rather my kids be blue-haired liberals, snowflakes, whatever you want to call them, and have them be home and studying something, anything at college, rather than be in the military now. There's no honor in it. And believe me, I know a lot of people think, wow, this is pretty rough, Mikey. Don't you think you're giving it kind of a... You should see the video at Patreon, where we really take the gloves off. So I will leave it there. God bless. Pray for each other. Pray for me, I'll pray for you. Lift each other up. Like, share, subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.